Okay, so in case you guys don't know, obviously you do, Andrea Crowder is a 9-star diamond coach in her first business center. She is a 6-star in her second business center, or 5-star,
Fine.
sometimes. And she is, a diamond in her third business center. So she's basically killing it on every level. 2014 Elite Coach. She sponsored 32 Lifetime Diamonds. Let you wrap your head around that number.
Holy
And
cow.
she's a Success Club legend. So this lady knows what the F she's talking about. She might drop a few F-bombs too while she's talking about it. So be prepared for that if you have little ones. Other than that, Andrea, go ahead and take it away.
She's only saying that because when I was hanging with her and her daughter over the weekend, she kept having to tell her, no, she said witch. She said witch. I swear. I was like, I'm the worst person to be around little kids. My kids just know now. I'll apologize and they're like, it's fine, Mom. We know we're not allowed to say that.
I'm totally that friend too. I totally have to apologize for myself all the time. I'm like, my bad. Sorry.
It's a bad habit, but honestly, I feel like whenever you guys hear me drop in a lot of swear words, it's because I feel really convicted in what I'm saying. I'm really passionate, especially when I'm talking about coaching. And when Noah asked me to speak on this call, the first thing that popped into my head that I said, I really want to, let me close my Facebook because it was making me and I forgot to close it. I said the thing that I really want to talk about is how successful people think, because while I can teach you guys what to do in this business, it's kind of like that statement of if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. If you can teach a man to fish, he can eat for the rest of his life or whatever. Like, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but you get the point. So I wanted to kind of talk you guys through my thought process of how I built the business that I have. And it's not because like I came into this business having any leverage or any leg up on anybody else. Truthfully, I came into this having, coming from an event planner side of a corporate career, also the executive assistant to the president of our company. So I kind of had a lot of jobs in this really small company of about 30 people. So wore a lot of hats, but had nothing to do with health and fitness, had nothing to do with running my own business. And I had to do a lot of soul searching over the last 4 years, and I've made a lot of mistakes. And I will tell you guys, like, it's cool to say, like, wow, I have 32 lifetime diamonds, but I also stayed stuck at diamond for the first year and a half of my business, which was really frustrating for me. And so I was growing my business at nighttime after my kids were in bed because I was still working a full-time job for about the first 2.25 years of my business. It was a lot of hustling. It was a lot of really hard work, sleepless nights, sometimes ending in tears because I was so just exhausted. And so there's no quick hop, skip, and a jump to the top. And whenever you guys see people that are just like, all of a sudden they just come out of nowhere, like they're just, something special, some kind of prodigy, it's really not the case. It's because they've just probably either done some work for their business on the front end, either they have maybe they have a bigger social media following or they have more influence in their community. But it's not that they're better than you. It's just that they probably started in some way, shape, or form, maybe through personal development before you did. And so I want to talk to you guys about kind of the way that I've approached my business and all of the things that I've learned through trying to get through those really tough humps of trying to turn this into a full-time income so that I could walk away from that full-time job, which was killing me working both. I mean, at the end of it, I was probably sleeping 5 hours a night, taking care of my kids. Sometimes my husband was gone, and there was about 3 months where he was completely gone he was actually here in Arizona and we were over there in DC. And so I was a single mom taking care of my kids, working a full-time job, building my business at night. And it was just a bunch of reasons where I could have used really valid excuses of why I could have stopped and why I could have just given myself a break or cut myself some slack, but I didn't. And part of that is, me really digging into personal development and learning these particular thought processes of how I can get through this. So I'm going to share them with you guys. So the first one is know where you're going and visualize. And I know you guys probably hear that a lot of like, what's your why, and visualize your why. And it's because it's so important, and it starts to become white noise. And that bothers me because I know that when I was really tired, and those times where I just wanted to come home from work and just die on the couch and just lay there and Netflix binge, I didn't, because I had such a strong vision of what my life was going to be like if I just kept going and if I just kept taking a step forward. And that vision propelled me. And so I tell my coaches when they ask me like, well, how do I motivate someone? How do I inspire them or get them to do something? I'm like, you really can't actually. You can inspire them briefly for maybe a period of about 24 hours, but it's going to fade very quickly. And then they're going to have to motivate themselves. And that comes from them being attached to this really strong vision of what it is that they want. It becomes this quite literal craving inside of your body that, like, I just woke up every day saying, I don't care how long it takes me to get there, even if it takes me twice as long, which it did, because I thought it would take me a year at the most. And it took me 2.25 to match. I just said I needed to be making $1,000 a week. But I had this vision inside my head of waking up in the morning, making a cup of coffee, not having to rush to work at 5:30 in the morning, rush kids off to daycare, try to get them dressed while I'm getting myself ready for work. Everything was go, 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 rush, rush, rush at the demands of someone else's time. I didn't want anybody to be demanding of my time anymore. I wanted to be the sole owner of that, aside from my family. Making my kids breakfast, I could smell the eggs, I could smell the coffee in this vision. I wanted it so bad. And I just wanted to be able to have, like, for me to sit and meditate for 20 minutes in the morning, which is kind of a newish habit for me, feels like a luxury still to this day, even though it's been almost 2 years, which is, wow, I just thought about that as I'm talking to you. It's been 2 years of me running my own business and working for myself. And still, after 2 years, it feels like such a valuable luxury to be able to say, okay, I'm going to do this today. Yesterday, I took half the day off because I needed to do something for myself. I needed to invest in myself and rejuvenate myself, really. So just simple things like cleaning up my freaking bedroom and putting a month's worth of laundry away because I'd been traveling a lot was weighing on me. And I got to choose that. And so that vision propelled me. And now my vision has changed quite a bit because my vision is to really empower other women to be able to do that. And when I kind of I visualize almost like me passing a torch or me passing a baton to other women and helping them create that freedom. And for us to be able to create this like really badass community of people who own their own time, people who can give audaciously, people who can all of a sudden, I posted in September, like, forget it, I'm doing it. I'm putting it on the calendar right now. I'm going to take my dream trip to Italy. Who's coming with me? And just reaching out to some of my girlfriends and people who've been building a business with me who are now my best friends and saying like, fuck it, we're going to Italy. How long? 2 weeks, a month, whatever. And just being able to do that. And how crazy cool is that not only do I get to have that as my life, but I get to invite and really offer that to other people. So, and I take it as a really serious responsibility so that my vision and your guys' vision will start to change as well. I'm really careful to not paint my vision now, I've learned, to look like something that will have a deadline. That's a goal, and goals have deadlines, but a vision is something, is how do you want to wake up and feel every day? How do you want to wake up? Like, what does that freedom look and feel like to you? Number 2 is successful people are independent researchers and they're very proactive. If they have a question, they go to Google first, because how much faster are you guys going to find a question on Google than to go send Noelle or Lindsay or Amber a direct message and then wait for possibly 2 hours until the next morning? Like, I've never sat, unless it's something that I need direct advice from a specific person, I've never sat there and waited for anybody else to give me the answer. I'm like, oh, Google has taught me almost this entire business. And if it doesn't, it can quickly direct me to a book that can, or an audio or a YouTube video. I've learned a ton on YouTube. The majority of my education has been free, aside from, books here and there. So being proactive and saying, okay, this is a problem for me. I don't know how to get past this, or my coach has this question or something like that. Anything that has to do with Beachbody, you guys can Google the FAQs. Like, do not even waste your time. Like, it takes you just as long to type it into Google as it does to type it into a chat message or even into a team page. And then if you guys find something, go share it with other people. But it's really important not only that you adopt that habit for yourself, but then you teach your team to do the same thing, because the faster they become independent of you, the faster they're going to be successful in this business. It feels good to be needed, but it also holds other people back, so it can become egocentric and selfish, unknowingly. Not to say that you guys or even myself, because I felt that way. It feels good when my team needs me, but it's holding them back if I don't give them that little bit of tough love and say, like, we were actually on a diamond Zoom earlier with Noelle and Amber and some of my other diamonds, and one person asked a question and one of the other girls was, "Girl, go Google that FAQ." Just like, I won't mention the name of who it was, but it was just funny because they all are doing it to each other now, but it's not because we're trying to like give each other a hard time. It's because we're trying to empower each other. Number 3 is successful people know how to motivate and inspire themselves. It's just like a muscle to be able to motivate yourself. You have to flex it on a daily basis. We don't have bosses looking over our shoulder. I'm not going to be one of my coach's bosses. I don't want to raise people that are dependent on me checking in on them. I want to raise people who want to move forward in this business on their own. And so I have to lead by example. And so it's not easy. I don't wake up at some people. One of my coaches sent me a message a couple weeks ago, and I had mentioned something on a call. I can't remember what it was, but she just messaged me and she's like, "Thank God you're not a machine." And I'm like, wow. I had to stop and ask myself, like, where did people get this idea that like somewhere there's like an energizer running in me? I am a high energy type of person, but I do and have learned over the years, how do I motivate myself when I don't want to do it? Because there has been times in this business where I've been tired and not wanting to do my work. Having my spouse telling him when I need him to hold me accountable helps. I find little things like if there's something in my business that I don't want to do, I know I have to make it fun for myself. So I'll turn my favorite music on. I'll light my favorite candle. I'll have a little dance party to get like my energy going up. Like I will do weird shit. I don't even care as long as it gets me motivated and ready to work. Successful people do weird things. It's fine. Like you guys are a part of a club now, so we'll all be weird together, but just know, like you have to know what it's going to take for you. Sometimes you need to go on a quick walk, let the sunshine seep into your skin if you need to, just to like feel good and then get to work. But whatever it takes, motivate and inspire yourself. Oh, the other thing that I do is I'll go back to like Gary Vaynerchuk always does it for me because I just love his crass, like straight to the point, bourbon and all of his videos. The first personal development book I ever read was Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk. And I did the audio version, which I'm thankful for. And he's just like, he is like, if I could ever say like somebody probably has like a battery pack inside of them, it's him. Like, I don't think he sleeps. Like he's just ready to conquer the world. He's really hardcore, but I can go watch one of his videos and it kind of re-inspires me. Or I can go watch Gary Vaynerchuk. Just type Gary V in Google. You'll see it come up. WineLibrary.com is his website. So he's somebody that inspires me. So I can go find a good YouTube video or something like that. But just know what it is for you. Be quick to take action if you're feeling in this lull, and get out of it as fast as you can if you feel like you're kind of in a slump. I was in a slump yesterday, so I started going through the motions and saying, okay, this is what I have to do. Get myself out of it quickly. Because the longer you stay in it, the more you guys start to attract like frustration in your business. Successful people handle setbacks with curiosity and never feel victimized. It's so easy in this business to look at other people and if they're moving faster than us, or if we try something new and it didn't work out, or if you guys did something that I told you to do and it didn't work for you the way that it worked for me, it's so easy to sit back and be like, oh, well, everything just works for Andrea. And of course it didn't work out for me. I used to do that all the time. Like, of course it worked for Lindsay Metway. She's blonde, she's beautiful, she's so smart. I love Lindsay, by the way. She's a good acquaintance of mine now. And, but I used to just like make up all these things in my head to excuse myself from moving forward. And instead, what I learned to do was get curious and say, why did this not work for me? Is there a lesson here that I'm trying to learn, that I need to learn to be able to move forward? And how can I approach this differently next time? This business is really just about like failing a lot. I have made so many mistakes. I could probably write a book full of the number of mistakes I've made in this business. But every time I make one, I learn something new. I tweak, I reapproach, and then slowly but surely, I finally find a system that works for me. Successful people watch their mouth. And I don't mean swear words, because clearly I do not watch my mouth. But they're careful about what they say about themselves. So watch, like the tongue can either speak life or death into your business, into your life. So I put a post up yesterday, a post about the I am statement. And those are two of the most powerful words that you can say about yourself. So if you say I am and it's followed with a negative, you start to plant a seed into your subconscious. One of my favorite personal development books for learning how to think and like how to speak things into life that you really want is The Power of the Subconscious Mind. It's really, really interesting if you're into that kind of stuff. Like I love anything psychology. I'm a nerd about like understanding people. But just remember, if like you start to catch yourself saying like, I'm a failure. I'm like, one of the things I said, I'm fat, like I'm unsuccessful. I'm never a finisher. I used to always say that about myself because my stepdad used to come home and be like, you never finished the laundry. And like, just, it was kind of a toxic situation. And just all of these things I started to believe about myself. And so I would always be that like project starter. Like I'm a really, really good starter, not so much a good finisher. Through this business, I've learned to change that belief about myself. So be careful what you say about what your abilities are. And remember that in this business, your success is a product of your choices and your decisions, not your circumstances or anything that's happened to you in the past. I could sit here and talk to you guys for an hour about the childhood that I grew up with. I'm not like feeling sorry for myself, but like I went through a lot of turmoil and a lot of shit. We'll just put it that way. And it could be really easy for me to sit down and excuse myself from being successful. But if, what's that? The Pursuit of Happiness, Chris Gardner. That's a real story. If you guys have seen that Will Smith movie. If someone like that can rise up and be as successful as he can, it just shows that like whatever you believe will become your reality. So be very, very careful about you starting to make excuses as saying like, oh, I'm broke. I don't have enough money to invest into personal development. Well, he was sleeping in a freaking subway, right? For, parts of his life. So he still found a way to make it work, right? So it's just a matter of not can you, but how motivated and will you is really the question you have to ask yourself. Successful people are incredibly grateful for the little things. It is so easy in this business to look at a $14 team cycle bonus and be like, oh, it's just $14. But what we bless grows, right? And what we feel negative towards will also grow in a negative way. So be very, very careful to sit back and be like, oh, I only made $100 this week, or I only made a $14 team cycle bonus. I started with a $14 team cycle bonus. And now this last week, I actually think I lost some money as far as like my own person. I had a lot of returns, surprisingly. I went and looked in my online office this morning and I was like, oh, where did all those come from? Like I had negatives in my personal sales, but I still made almost $9,000 this week, which is crazy town, right? 1 week residual income, because it all started with one little $14 team cycle bonus. That's what consistency over time and belief and celebrating and being grateful in the little things can do for you. Successful people are always growing. I PD like a boss. Anybody who says they don't need personal development, now here's the catch, because I know Noelle PD's like a boss too. Here's the little catch, so we have to be careful of. Like, you can't do so much personal development that you don't actually take action. So I know a couple of my coaches are just like PD junkies, and like they will read anything. I'm the same way, but you have to actually take what you're learning and apply it into your business. And I found, I think one of the coolest books that I read that helps me coach other people, Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins, because it taught me about how people make decisions of whether they're going to do something, whether they're going to gain pleasure or pain. And if it's going to be pain, they tend to want to avoid it. Same reason we tend to want to avoid working out, right? Because it's going to cause us pain, even though later on for the rest of the day, it's going to cause us a ton of pleasure, but we associate the pain and we hold more value in that. So I thought that was a really, really powerful book for myself to motivate myself to do things that might be a little scary, like inviting someone new or consistency in working out and such, was really helpful. Successful people are careful not to multitask. I'm not perfect at this, but I know when I am focused in using a list and I'm being really present with that one particular task, instead of like me working on a new system for my coaches while I'm responding to personal messages, while I'm trying to talk to my children. We don't do anything well when we're trying to do 3 things. And that's why I used to be a really good project starter, was because I'd go around the house and I'd clean like 10 different places in my house, but nothing would ever get cleaned. Thank God my husband's way better at cleaning than I am. But it was because I was trying to do too many things at once, and nothing was really getting done. So doing one thing at a time is actually a bigger strength than multitasking. And here's one thing that I found was really important. Being present and doing one thing at a time, especially when I'm talking to someone. Because successful people make other people feel valued. People want to do business with you because they feel valued by you, because you giving someone your undivided attention is one of the most amazing gifts that you can give another human being. The gift of time is something that you can never get back. So you investing in that to someone, people hold a lot of weight and value in that. And so when I was kind of struggling in my business, I was like, oh my God, I got to make Success Club. I got to recruit. I got to get more diamonds. And like, I was so numbers driven that I had this kind of crash in my business. I won't go into because it will take way too long, but I really kind of had to let things go, stop, come back, and be present with one person at a time. And so I would put headphones on. I would light a candle in my little workspace, which was in my living room because I didn't have an office then. And I would, like, when I'm talking to a potential customer or a potential coach, they're the only person in my universe. I am so present with them. I want to be empathetic with them. I want to truly hear them. I want them to know that I hear them. So me repeating what they've already said to me. And I just want to be so present with that person. And by me giving them my energy, it started getting tremendous results for me in my business. That's when my business started to make a really, really significant shift upward. Let's see, where'd I go? Successful people love people where they are at. I know that one of the biggest struggles in this business, especially when we see a lot of potential in someone, and if you guys are great coaches, I'm sure you are, because you're sitting here spending your time with me on a, Thursday night. I don't know what day it is this week. You obviously really, really deeply care. And it's so hard sometimes when you see someone and you're like, oh God, you can do this. You know that they have it in them. You see like that spark, that magic, that really something special, but they're just not there yet. It's really, really tough because you want to just shake the shit out of them sometimes, right? Like you just want to transfer your belief into them. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Or if it had, I would have already trademarked it and I'd be selling it by now. But it doesn't. And so for you to love someone where they're at and say, okay, they're not ready. When they are ready, they're going to explode, whether it's in their business or whether it's in their weight loss, but they have to like emotionally be ready. That's why I said you can't motivate someone. So you loving them and being patient, because sometimes it's really easy to be like, like how many times have we talked about this? My mom is like my biggest teacher of patience, because she's like, I can't even coach her anymore, to be honest with you. Because she's like, I want to lose weight. I'm tired of being fat, blah, 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 blah. And then like she's eating either nothing or she's eating Jack in the Box the next day. So she's my biggest teacher of patience. But it used to bother me so much because I love her so much. And I had to do this kind of like forgiveness exercise that one of my coaches taught me to do with her. And that was to write a letter of forgiveness to her, which was really powerful. And at the end of it, I felt a tremendous amount of compassion and my ability to love her where she is right now. And that is a really, really big gift for you to give people, where they feel like no matter what they do, they have your unconditional love. And you guys will build a really, really fierce tribe of people that will want to follow you anywhere if they feel that you will love them no matter what they say or do. Let's see, where'd I go? Successful people do not wait for someone else to give them permission to succeed. You guys have to empower yourself. I've had a couple people, I've heard lots of different stories over my years of coaching of someone saying like, oh, I can't create this system because like I don't want to step on my coach's toes or something. And I just thought to myself, have I ever asked you all permission ever to do anything in my business? Not only like would she just laugh at me and be like, why the hell are you asking me that? But no, I just wouldn't bother, because I take ownership over my business. I give myself permission to succeed. I'm not waiting for someone else to give me permission. So you guys can't do that either. And empower your coaches to know that they don't have to wait for you. Again, it can come back to sometimes it feels really good to be needed. And I recognize that, and it's awesome to feel that way, but it's so important to empower your coaches to know that they can succeed well beyond you. Like I have some coaches where I'm just like, the rate that they're growing is much faster than I was growing, and they will outgrow me. I know it in my heart. And that really excites me, because I genuinely want them to succeed as far as they can dream. And it's really important for you guys to give yourself that permission, and then to give your team that permission. Successful people get lost in their business. And what I mean when I say that, it becomes almost like a romantic love story, the way that I look at my business. I really, really do romanticize it, because there's a really cool quote in the book Girl Boss, which I'm a huge, huge fan of. She said, you create the world blink by blink. And for a creative, that just like love story right there. I'm like, oh, that could be a great book. I'm like, so I just look at my business as like, what do I love? What brings me a tremendous amount of joy? And how can I infuse that into every element of my business? Because then it doesn't matter how bad of a day I'm having. I always want to work my business. And it's because I have infused myself into it. And the way I run my business is very different than a ton of other top coaches, which says to me that it can be done is however you want to do it. But when you're having fun, when you're in love with your business, and it really truly like intoxicates you, nobody can pull it away from you. My husband told me one time, he's like, well, maybe after all your traveling, you should take like a week off. And I was like, are you punishing me? Like, that sounds awful. Like a half a day, I can do that. Okay, actually I can take weekends now. I've taken a full weekend. Anything more than that, I'm like, are you kidding me? That sounds like you're actually punishing me. And it's because I have created my business around things that really light me up, that feed into my passions. So you guys sitting down and writing down, like, what am I really deeply passionate about, and how can I infuse that into my business? I love empowering people. I love lifting people up. I've always been a natural encourager. That's why, having gone through the hell that I did during parts of my childhood, it wasn't all bad, but during parts of my childhood, I don't look back on it now and think like, wow, that was really shitty. Because I just have this natural, like, glass half full personality or like glass all the way full personality. Like I just see the best in people. I watched my stepdad like almost beat my mom to death. I still love him like deeply, and I've forgiven him. And it's just, sometimes I think it might just be a gift from God that I can be so forgiving and really truly see the best in people. But it's a part of my business, why this business really feeds me, because I get to do that every single day, where I can empower people and I can say, no, you're better than that. And sometimes I can give them tough love and say, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna let you make that excuse again, because I loved them so much. And that is like how I really like grown very, very passionate about my business. Plus I'm highly creative. So when you guys want to start talking fonts with me, when you guys want to start talking color schemes with me, like just pour me a glass of wine, let's do this shit. I love it so much. And so like whenever my team wants to start talking about branding, that's fun for me. So you guys think of, and Joelle for kind of like an opposite example, don't talk branding to her because she's going to tune out. She's going to be like, go ask Andrea because I got nothing for you. And so we're good success partners, because sometimes I'll get on the phone and I'll do coaching calls with her team and vice versa, because she's really good at like this super scheduled, like her power hours. I just am in awe of them. But like my creativity or my strengths in this business are that I'm a little bit more of a visionary. I'm kind of like the big idea girl. And she's like, okay, here's how to get those big ideas done, girl, which is a fantastic compliment in this business. So success partners are amazing. Successful people are not afraid of failure. And then another quote from my favorite book, Girl Boss, is failure is your invention. When I read that, the creative in me is like, I get to invent something. I'm so excited, which made me crave failure more, because I've hit the ground so many times in this business where now I've learned like the faster I fail, the faster I succeed. So now I start to look for it like, okay, let's just knock this shit out. And as soon as I fail, then I go back again. I get curious and I'm like, okay, what did I do wrong? How can I make this better? And how can I just like make this the best of the best this time? Oh, and then another quote I wrote down was, there are secret opportunities hidden inside every single failure. When I first branded my team, it was called Team No Excuses, which to me is like, wah, wah, it's cool. Like, I'm a tough love coach, so it was okay. But I had 5 people on my team, 4 people on my team. Maybe 3. I don't know. Not very many, under 5 for sure. And one of them was a guy. And we were all trying to name our team, and it became Team No Excuses. And then we had some tagline, and then a top coach came to me later on and said, your tagline is too close to mine, and was like kind of a little like scary to me, because at first I'm like, oh my God, I see a message from, so I won't say the person's name because that's not my style, but I was like, oh my God, why is she messaging me? And I was like really afraid to answer the message, and I opened it up and I was like, oh my God, she's threatening to like stick her lawyer on me. Like, scary shit. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm like the chillest. Like, I'm a total Cali girl where like nothing can like ruffle my feathers. Usually I'm pretty easygoing, and like, I'm like, really, you don't have to threaten me that way. Like, I'll change it right now. Like, it's no big deal. I'm a creative anyway. And like, I hadn't invested a lot of time in my branding, but that experience, which was like a little nerve wracking, and at first would feel like, oh crap, like I suck. Turned into MissFitRepublic.com. It really pushed me into saying, okay, it's time to rebrand and get really serious. And it was just like everything, like the motion that got set turned into like one of the coolest, most powerful brands. I see coaches in the top 10, they come to me and they ask me, how did you rebrand to Miss Fit Republic? And they ask me for my advice, because we collectively as a community have made it a really, really powerful brand that people really respect and admire, which I think has not a lot to do with the logo and more to do with our community vibe, which is very cool. And then let's see. Successful people believe that fortune favors action. Successful people are just doers. Again, we don't wait around for someone to come tell us what to do or how to do it. If we don't know how, we Google. And if we need to go ask, you know, like a quick question in the team page, or maybe ask someone who's already done it and just pick their brain for a couple minutes. I'm very careful about trying to pick other people's brain because sometimes people just want to take. And while I love to give, sometimes it can become depleting. So I try to honor other people. When I ask them for something, if they ask them for advice, or if I ask them to host a team call with us or something like that, I always offer, what can I do for you in return? And so that's just like a really, really cool etiquette that you guys can apply to your business that will make you a person of value to other leaders as well. And I've learned so much in this business from other people who've already done it. They've been very generous with their time and knowledge with me, but it's always because I try to give them something in return. Maybe I have a cool system, or like our challenge interview guide. Actually, you guys want to know how I created that, by the way? I Googled. And I found somebody else who had a really cool, like, she's a health coach completely in a different industry. And I was just studying her branding because I really, really loved it. And I was like, oh, she has this cool application form. So I opened up her application form and I was like, wow, these are really great questions. And so I recreated them in my own words, and that became one of the most valuable systems on the Misfit Republic website, just because I Googled. Because I said, here's like a gap, and this is me taking action. And that's how the Misfit Republic website was born too. I realized like I had a lot of information in my brain and I couldn't get it out to everybody in the way that I wanted to. And so I stopped and I sat down and I said, okay, how can I put this into a really logical website? And then I called Joelle because she's the logical one. And I said, okay, here's my idea. And then we created together. And of course, some of the other leaders have now added a tremendous amount of value to that website. But it was just me simply saying, here's a gap in our team. And if you guys see a gap on that website, please don't come tell me to come create a system, because I'm going to go back and tell you, you had the idea, you go create the system, and empower you to use your knowledge. But if you guys see a gap and you're like, this would be really helpful to other people, send me the created system. I'll throw it up on the website, because I know that I'm not the only person who has really smart, valuable things to offer to the team. And I think teamwork makes the dream work. So, and when it comes to that statement of fortune favors action in this business, again, it can become, I can't talk today, I'm detoxing, you guys, so my brain is like totally muddy right now. It can become a very slippery slope to start looking for your value in, number one, your paycheck, or number two, your rank. And you start to feel bad about yourself. I hit diamond and then I dropped it twice. Felt really shitty about that. I'm actually 9-star in my second business center lifetime, but currently 3-star because 11 of my diamonds, or not, I have 11 total in my second, and now currently I have 3. Could I sit there and be like, I'm the worst coach in the world? I dropped all the way from 9 to 3. That's a big drop, you guys. It's the name of the game in this business. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. The point is being really consistent in your daily behaviors. Don't get distracted by shiny little things that are fun. If you guys aren't doing the 3 vital behaviors, I know, again, they become white noise, but this business is truly built off of sharing the opportunity, whether it's fitness or finance, being proof the products work, sharing that through social media. I kind of look at social media, mostly Facebook, as like a 4th vital behavior, really learning how to use that to attract people to you. And then personal development. If you guys aren't doing those things, don't let yourself get distracted by the other stuff. Be smarter than that. You guys are better than average, and average people get distracted by that stuff. If you guys want to have like the cooler things in this business and really be able to impact a lot of people, you've got to stick with the basics, and sometimes it's just not sexy. And that's why sometimes like I'll dance around in my office until I make it fun, and then I sit down and I invite. I'll do weird things to get myself excited and motivate. I still get nervous inviting people because I'm talking to a new person. I'm an introvert. I don't love to talk to people that I don't know, but I feel very convicted that it's my obligation to share this business, and it's very selfish of me to hold something that could change someone's life in my hand and not actually offer it to them. So I do it anyway. I do the things that scare me, and I've become more comfortable become more comfortable over the years, but it still makes me nervous talking to a new person. If you guys saw me in person, number one, I'm very quiet. Number two, I'm usually standing next to my husband, who's the extrovert loudmouth, and I just let him because then I don't have to be. And I smile and I fake my way through Summit and I just really try to be present with people one-on-one, but being in like big groups of people make me really nervous. But I do it anyway because I'm very passionate about what I do. Let's see, how long do I have? You're muted.
However long that you want. I didn't know how long you had.
Okay, I just have 2 more, but I want to make sure because some people it's like 30 minutes and now I've clearly gone over that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Successful people reward themselves in mind, body, and spirit. So doing things to make you feel good every day is really important to keeping your energy up, because you can quickly burn out in a business like this, especially if you really, really love it. Doesn't matter how much you love it. Burnout will come if you don't take care of yourself. It happens to me usually once or twice a year. Yesterday was one of my days where I kind of had to pull back because I was trying to continue to run a 3,000 person team and travel, make 5 trips in about 4 weeks, which was a little rough. I'll never do that again. But I had to come back and spend some time for myself and invest back into my family, just doing little things for yourself. Schedule yourself a pedicure once in a while. Just reward yourself for working hard. And you can set up metrics. Sometimes I tell myself like, okay, when I hit this goal, and usually my goals are things that I can control, not based off of like whether my diamonds are holding their diamond or not. But once I hit a goal like that, I'll reward myself with a massage, or I'll reward before like I was making any money, just going out and doing something small, like taking my daughter and us having like a Starbucks date, something really small that would like rejuvenate me and like make me feel good about my relationships was important. And successful people don't get distracted and focus on the things they don't want. So what I mean by that is where your focus goes, energy flows. That's, I think, a Wayne Dyer quote, but it's so true. When I get the best results in my business, it's because I'm really, really hyper-focused. So I recruit in batches. That's how I run my businesses. I don't recruit all month long. I usually go really hard for a week. I set a goal of how many people I want to invite to this business. And then I just go hard with that one thing and I get great results that way. And then I do the same thing if I'm inviting to a challenge group. But I feel like when I'm hyper-focused on one thing at a time, I just get better results. But it's very easy to sit back and be focused on the negative. Like, I only made $200 this week, or I'm not making the money that I wanted to be making, or just like whatever the negative is. If your attention is focused on that, you'll keep attracting that. And so you can start to slip back and forth. Every once in a while I catch myself, but I've learned to be very quick about grabbing myself and pulling myself backwards. Even at leadership, I took a moment and I was looking at all these incredible people who've achieved amazing things in this business. And while I have too, I started to compare myself and think like, oh, I'm not as eloquent as she is on stage, or man, I would have never even thought to say that to a coach. Like, I just suck. For a moment, like I just started thinking about all the things that I'm not, and I'm like, whoa, slippery slope. I'm not going back there, because that's what like drove my business almost back down to 0 around the 18-month mark. And so just remember, focus on what you want, not what you don't want. So it's as simple as saying like, I don't want to miss Success Club this month. That's a negative. I'm going to hit Success Club this month. That's the positive. Very, very slight difference in language, but very, very different results you'll get in your business. And the last thing that I want to leave you guys with is like a little bonus. Successful people just don't quit. They are, I like to say that I'm just really stubborn. I had so many ups and downs in this business where all of a sudden I was making $500 a week, and then I was making $80 a week. And I'm like killing myself trying to make this business work. It was so hard, and it would have been so much easier for me to just say, forget it, I'll just keep working at this job. I was making $55,000 a year, which is pretty good income, but there was nowhere else for me to grow, and there was really I wasn't going to be able to make much more money than that. And living in the DC area, that's really not a whole lot of money to be supporting your family on. So it could have been easy for me to just say, like, it's fine. Somehow we'll pay off all our debt on the income that we're making, military income, and then mine. It would have probably taken us 25 years to pay off all that debt if I had given up. But we were kind of comfortable being uncomfortable, right? We were already used to drowning in debt, even though it sucked every day. But I didn't. I'm stubborn. It's the reason I'm still married, because I'm just really stubborn, and I don't give up on things. Like, once I get my sights set on something, I'm like a pit bull with a rope. Like, I sink my teeth in, and I do not give up until I complete whatever it is that I'm going to complete. And that is the only reason that I'm talking to you guys today. It's the only reason I have anything of value to say to you guys today, is just that I'm a genuinely stubborn individual. And I hope to just like transfer all of that stubbornness and just splatter it all over all of you guys. So that's all I have. And then I do have a couple minutes for questions if you guys need. I have a 6 o'clock call in 8 minutes, but I can take questions.
My hand hurts, first of all. It's not hurting fast enough, and I'm cramping in my hand. I had a quick question. Who do you, like, okay, you said you go hard for like a week inviting, and you set a goal number of people that you're going to invite and recruit in batches. Do you just invite like all the new people that you've added that month or the month previous, or like who do you decide to invite?
So I've worked my business a little bit differently over the years. In the beginning, it was like follow-up. So the people who said yes 3 months ago might be ready now. Me continuing to build those relationships. Sometimes I would use like the event invite little feature on Facebook to invite people and get them into sneak peeks. Or one of the stupidest mistakes I ever made in my business was like resisting something new. And I knew about sneak peeks for a long time, and I didn't start implementing them into my business because I just thought, like, I don't have time for another new thing. Sneak peeks like changed the game for me. So inviting people through event invites, I will use Facebook advertisements to invite. Now, when I run a Facebook ad, I get those people on my friends list. So anybody that didn't say yes the last time can get invited again if I do an event invite, or if I start sending personal invites, which I usually do through my follow-ups. I just use the Misfit follow-up tracker sheets, and then I put them into, like, I have little tabs for the months that just say the month, and I just print off a couple sheets for each month, and then I know, like, okay, I got to go back, and once I sign someone up, I just cross them off. I have a really, really simple tracking system. I tried all the complicated things and they didn't work for me. But so that's really my process but in the beginning, it was a lot of like me joining groups and having like those one-on-one conversation and really hardcore hustles. My attraction marketing works really well for me now. So I will say, if you guys can learn to tell your story through Facebook, that was a game changer for me. So I usually recruit fairly easily now because people trust me, because they already know who I am because of me sharing my story through social media. It does make my job a lot easier. And I did take like Bo Eason. He's a great person to follow with learning how to share your story. He's like the man when it comes to stuff like that. Well, good question.
What was his name? Bo
Eason, Eason.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I had a quick question. Your point about trying to get your team to be independent researchers. I have a lot of people, well, not a lot, a few people that are constantly texting me and things like that with questions. And I always say, well, there's, the Misfit website has all that information on there. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, I'll check it out. And then, a couple days later, I get the same questions over again. How do you nicely say, I don't want to keep answering your questions?
You have to set expectations from the very beginning, first of all. So if you're teaching, like, are they texting you on your phone, not personal messaging?
One of them is, because she's my friend.
Stop that right now.
Okay.
Because now I have, 160 or 170 personally sponsored coaches. Could you guys imagine all those people texting me on my phone? That would be bondage. That would not be fun anymore. So stop that right now, I recommend. And second of all, set expectations and say, like, if you want me to answer your question, you have had to have Googled first and checked the website. And if you come back to me and you tell me you still can't find it and show me where you've searched, then I'll help you. But explain to them with love and compassion. Look, the reason that I'm telling you this is because I want you to be able to succeed and not need me or not be dependent on me. And sometimes, like for me, like at the point I am in my business, sometimes it takes me over 24 hours to get back to even one of my personally sponsored coaches, just because of the sheer number of messages that come in. And so if you don't change that behavior now, it's going to create a lot of stress and frustration for you and them, because they're not going to be able to move forward without you. You don't want to create people that have to have you in order for them to succeed. So if you explain it like that with genuine compassion, like, look, I want this for you because it's going to help you more than it's going to help me. Most people will get it. And if they don't, sometimes I have to be like, you're not my tribe. So.
Got it. Thank you.
Good question. But you're at a point where you can get that in control now. So that's
Yes.
good.
I'll get on it right now. Blocking her number on my cell phone. I'm just kidding.
My coaches can text me, but usually it's like if it's personal, you know, like because they're my friends now. So when they're texting me on my phone, like it's personal or it's really time sensitive, in which case I'll always get back to them if it's something that it's urgent, especially if it's like a rank issue and I need to make a phone call for them or something like that. But otherwise they only communicate with me through Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, I just have one question. How do you get yourself out of the mindset, or do you recommend a book that I have a tendency to be like, and I'm really working on this. Like last hustle call, I was like, I only have, and I'm dragging, and I'm trying to get out of that mindset. But is there anything that you could recommend?
Yeah, so that would be like the lack mentality where I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough Success Club points, I don't have enough coaches. Once you have one coach, you guys need to see value in that. You have one person that could be a Lindsay Matway, you don't even know. And sometimes we're like, oh, I only have one coach. Like, whoa, be careful what you say, sister.
Yeah.
I would say, I'm not ignoring you, I'm actually looking at my books right now.
No, it's okay.
You Are a Badass is a really good book for like helping you with mindset. I don't know if you've read that one.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm not a negative person at all. It's just I'm struggling so hard with my own team. I literally feel like I'm pulling teeth. To like I'm throwing everything I can. I'm trying to be more personal. I'm doing everything I can and then some. It's just nothing's
Stop
clicking. Stop.
No, it shouldn't be like that. Like you don't want to be pulling people along because that depletes your energy. You want to enable or empower people, which is very different. And if you're pulling them, you need to cut the cord right now and they'll either sink or swim. Again, I said it to you guys, your results are not I can't even remember the dang quote now. It has nothing to do with like your circumstances or conditions. It has to do with your actions. Mm-hmm. Same for them. Okay. If they want to succeed, it really has nothing to do with you. One of my new coaches recruited I think 6 or 9 coaches before we ever had a getting started right call. I had never even spoken to her on the phone yet. And because she just took action. So the most important thing that you can do for your team is to lead by example and to share what's working for you. The people who want it they're going to find a way. You can offer things like Zoom calls where they check in for good ideas and to share and to brainstorm and stuff like that. I find a lot of value in those. But if you feel like you're pulling teeth, you need to cut the cord with whoever that person is and let them sink or swim. Do it with love and love them where they're at. And if they choose to sink, love them in that choice. But you have to cut that cord or you will start drowning with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm noticing that.
Recruiting, Stephanie.
Yeah, I sent out 10 recruits yesterday.
Good. You moving forward will inspire them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. Thank you.
So I was struggling with the same thing as you, Stephanie. Like when I started this group, I had 15 coaches and about 12 of them were inactive. And I just like basically like after the first call that we had, I was like, whatever, I'm dropping the rope. I don't remember who it was because we've talked to so many people, but I was just like, okay, I'm leaving you on the rope and I'm just going to go. Maybe it was Noelle or Lindsay.
Yeah, I like the rope analogy.
I think it was the rope analogy. So I was like, okay, whatever. And now I'll probably be diamond very soon because one of my coaches just signed her second coach on my right leg. And then my left leg, she just needs one more. And it like inspired the rest of my coaches to start working because they saw this one coach who just came out the gate as a discount coach. And now they all want to do it. And I just let go. I just was just like, here you go, God, take it. Make it happen.
You're Elsa. You're letting it go.
So, and I was just like that. Like when we first started this training, I was exactly like that. Like, oh, I just want them to do it. And they weren't doing it. And it was
We all go through that struggle. No coach gets out unscathed from that or feeling like, just move. Like
and
we all feel that way.
no matter how far up you get.
Don't feel like you're a bad coach. Like we all go through it, but just remember, like you can't do it for them and you're here to build leadership. So I have to jump off, you guys. I have to get on another call, but thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Andrea.
Thank you
That
so
was
much.
great.
Thank you so much, Andrea.
Anytime. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.